all. Because of that, we don't get to see a lot of Beatrix anymore, which is sad because it's always fun to see. But let's see what happens in game number 2 here, because RRQ Hoshi on the red side, 1 game away from clean sweeping the series.
So once more, both teams stay on the same side as they did in game 1, but the bans slightly different. This time it's going to be Liquid Philippines that ban out the Joy themselves. Even though that they were given the Joy, they realized that we just cannot maximize her. They did ban the Matilda. Drusin banned out by RRQ Hoshi. I know that Liquid Philippines did ban the Hilda in game 1 too. So with the Joy ban out, does RRQ Hoshi, do they stick with Fanny Suyo?
What's your command? Your team is
They could, honestly.
Not the only one.
But if they really wanted to, they could even leave Suyo open. But it's a little more risky because I think Suyo is a little easier to play overall than Joy, and just is more effective throughout the game. So if you really want to limit Artiz's hero pool, then denying that might not be a bad choice, though it does mean giving the Granger away.
Let's see, I mean, if for RRQ Hoshi, they are going to... I'm looking at... I think you probably open both. I do like the I do agree with the suggestion. You open both and then you just take either or. Yeah, they banned the Granger out this time. So we go for the trade.
Yeah, so Liquid will go for the Suyo here. RQ could actually do something similar to what we saw from RG earlier, right? You go for the... Oh wait, no, Matilda's already gone. So you can't do that. But Hilda is open. That could be an option.
Hilda Alpha?
Oh, the Harry is also you don't have to pick Alpha now. Oh, Eve!
Oh wait, the Eve was open, yeah!
Even Harif is actually really... Yeah, even Harif. Definitely. Because you don't have to lock in Alpha here. You can third pick Alpha because Liquid is not going to contest it away from you.
That's true.
Gaze the stars.
So they end up taking the Loi and the Hilda. This is a very... They're scarily... eerily, you know, close. Like a carbon copy of what Onyx Philippines would go for. You know, the Loi Suyo is one of like their signatures. So the Alpha does come true, like you said. It's the third pick for RQ Hoshi. Power picks for both teams, especially this Hilda, right? Like, but since there's the Alpha, it does dampen the effect that Hilda would have.
Hilda is still going to be really annoying early on, but having Alpha, Harif, and Eve actually means it's a bit more difficult for Hilda to do the things that she would normally do, right? Just like run into the back line, try to take out the squishy heroes, or deny them, because like you mentioned, Alpha is actually pretty strong early on, and then Eve and Harif both have ways of taking care of themselves somewhat.
So there's the Glue and Khalid ban. So we're left with the Hylos and Gatot as the next two in line. There's still the Tigro for RQ Hoshi. I think even in this case, it's not exactly the worst. The chip is still up. I know it's been let through a few times, but no teams have picked it up yet.
I think there is already a Loi in the game. If Liquid goes for Chip and Loi, they would have some insane global pressure, yes, but they are also playing it into a real-world manipulation, which could be quite risky. And even worse if RRQ decides to lock in the Tigreal again.
Who said there are no shortcuts in life?
Yeah, I was thinking the chip for RRQ Hoshi, because I do feel like there is a way to kind of match the Loi and kind of accelerate the game, right? So we might just go back down to the Tigreal for RQ then.
Tigreal would work just fine. Cho is actually an option as well, hasn't been banned out. But yeah, Edok did a great job with it, got MVP in game 1. Why not go for it again?
It's not broken, don't fix it, right? So the Gatot gets picked up, kind of saw that coming. So Hilda, this could still be a Hilda XP again. It's a very, very flexible pick. The question is, are they going to go Moskov again?
I think Iritel is probably still a little bit better than Moskov overall. In terms of like directly dueling Hari. You can also go for the classic counter, which is a Lunox.
That too, yeah.
I mean, Beatrix is also a safe fallback. Carry, I'm surprised we haven't seen Carry yet, but looks like Moskov is the comfort pick here for UFTZ. They're gonna stick to it. That leaves RQ, Hoshi, EXP lane for your final pick.
Well, guess we have to wait for another day, potentially, to see that Carry. And now we're left with the XP lane. What is left there? I mean, part of me was thinking something like
CC is still good.
CC, yeah, I was thinking of the CC. Benedetta?
CC is
Probably
still
not.
good. Nah, probably not. Edith is not too bad an option as well.
Arlet? Oh, okay,
Yep,
CC.
CC. Alright. I already say, they have Tigreal as an initiator already. I think CC is not quite as good as Phobius at opening up the team fight, but contributes a bit more DPS overall. So RQ Hoshi will still have lane priority, I think, in like every single lane on the map, which will allow them to play a bit more in control early game.
It's also the same. I think the SOP is also like, if I can tie the Moskov to one of his teammates, he is dead, right? And the same applies for the Suyo. So, and in lane, like you said, she just doesn't care if it's a Gatot or Hilda. She beats them anyways. Let's see if RQ having this lane priority, especially in the side lanes, you definitely alleviate pressure from that mid trio, but even better, you could start kind of spilling that lead to the lane of your choice. As we head into game number 2, we got Liquid Philippines on the blue side, RQ Hoshi on the red side.
So far, on the first day of the challenge season here at the Snapdragon Pro Series, only the very first match of the day has gone all 3 games. That was between Lazy Esports and Blacklist International. The rest have been clean sweeps. And right now, RQ on track to recreate that, unless Team Liquid Philippines can switch things up and show us that they still have what it takes to stand on the global stage in a meta that has so far been a challenge to them.
Almost felt like they were forsaken at one point. I'm looking to see if there's any off-tempo play, right? Because Kautini is on the Suyo. A lot of pressure on the Sanford early on, but he doesn't take the Revitalize. So it's a sprint for the Hilda this game. So the approach is going to be a bit different.
So he is intending to go for full rundown. I expect we'll see Sanford not really part of the initial fight and just looking for Toy most of the time just to deny the Harif any space inside the team fight itself. Looking at the rest of the emblems here, I did see Master Assassin on Yuktizi actually. So that's an interesting choice because even with it, I don't think he's really going to be able to win out against Toy in lane.
There's the only other issue that might happen is Sanford, you want to go for full rundown. You even took the Wilderness Blessing and the agility or the Swift. So it's all about the movement speed, but he's still not able to kind of move out lane first, right? I think that's something you want to capitalize. So far, Sanford is still looking for the opportunity. This could be it. Finding Susujin. First blood for Liquid Philippines.
That was an incredible collapse, actually. So without even noticing it, Susujin was suddenly surrounded on all sides by 3 members, and then they just all crushed him in the center into a pancake. So really nice first blood there. TZ gonna be able to get the first turtle of the game, and already it looks a lot different compared to game number 1. TZ, you can tell that he's a lot more confident playing aggressive on the Suyo.
JP getting found out. Again, the duality reaction. It's not the easiest thing to play into, especially when you have essentially 4 close range in your face heroes, right? You're gonna get sucked in one way or the other. Kautizi takes away the purple ball. Susujin, a way better start compared to game number 1. Sanji even gets away. That's real world manipulation expended by Rins.
Yeah, the Purify at exactly the time the Spear of Alpha landed as well meant that there was no way for Susujin to continue dishing out damage. This is now a huge advantage actually for Liquid as multiple jungle camps are being stolen away by Susujin. Kautizi already a full level up and a 1k lead 3 minutes in for Team Liquid PH.
Even Dyron is struggling a little bit against Sanford. So current call was used. Kautizi bringing him down very, very low. Dyron, he's gonna force to take this recall.
Even though on paper, RRQ should have pretty solid side lane priority, you can see that Liquid have been taking great lengths to make sure that they're not able to play off of it, and now actually regaining control over the other sides of the map. It's actually becoming difficult for RRQ to roam around and create space the same way they did in game number 1, so this is now time to try and make a shift in priority. RQ has a very powerful team fight with Tigreal and Eve, so making sure they're able to group up, keeping the lanes subbed out so that they can all be part of turtle fights should be a little bit more effective for them.
The fact that we said that RRQ Hoshi has kind of strong side lanes, and right now it doesn't matter as much. But this second turtle is going to be important, right? Like Susujin is a level behind Kartizi. JP is going to constantly look for an opportunity. They flicker Implosion, but it really doesn't matter. Turtle still goes over the Team Liquid Philippines and the AOG into a divergent play to the back line. RQ Hoshi getting boxed in from multiple angles. Another 2 kills for Team Liquid PH.
Team Liquid definitely feeling themselves now. The flicker implosion, like you pointed out, onto Kartizi specifically to make sure that he couldn't retry, and he still was able to get it. The timing was just slightly off because the rest of Team Liquid was breathing down Sutsujin's neck. Dyron now in some trouble again.
The Vengeance keeping him alive for a little bit, but not long enough. Even the curtain call is not able to save him. So that's the 4th kill for Team Liquid PH. So it's starting to become a bit of a problem. Your strong lanes are getting collapsed on. Susujin against Kartizi. Kartizi blazers away. So no shutdown for Susujin.
And this is why I was thinking that it was probably not a good idea to give the Suyo away the same way you did Joy. This is a hero that enables a lot more counterplay. And Enoch just blows up so much global presence from this team composition on Team Liquid. Immediately the diversion onto Toy.
I wanted to go for a Spear of Misery, but Toy able to dodge it in time. Still, they bring Sanford in, so Toy is still forced away from his own tier 1. They want to collapse on the Sanford, drop the curtain call, and the real world manipulation. Sanford just press the sprint. He's out of there. Top tier 1 falls.
Yeah, the sprint is very good at getting out of these particular forms of crowd control. RQ actually in a lot of trouble here. Even in game number 1, when Liquid was behind a lot of the time, RQ only really had a 1k net worth lead, and now, 6 minutes in, Liquid has 5 kills, 4k gold advantage. When RQ was supposed to have more lane and map priority in general, Liquid have been making a masterclass.
Edo is straight up dead, but he's gonna try and take Sanford with him. Implosion committed. Sanford surely is gonna go down. JP with the AOG. Susujin the next target. Oh my goodness, the duality is too much. Yuktizi wants to commit further, but finds no angle. So still at the end, Liquid Philippine, they find 2-4-1.
Loyi is a pretty classic Sanji hero. It's been a long time since we've gotten to see him play it on a stage like this, but I am very happy to see it. And you can tell just how much it's enabling Team Liquid. They can rotate around very aggressively. Even if they make mistakes in terms of movement, a single diversion will instantly correct it and bring them right into the heart of the action. And RQ has a lot of heroes that ideally need a couple of items under their belt before they're able to really start oppressing their opponent. Liquid not giving them the opportunity to do so, it's slowly tightening the vice grip across the map.
Holy cow, one duality is half of Rince's health bar.
That's just low E gameplay for you.
It's just, yeah, it's low E in a nutshell. And you proc the Little Ignition just like that. So easy. So that's gonna be Queen's Wings next, I think, for Susujin.
It does look like it. He ideally needs something to survive. Diversion, once again, they're looking for Toy.
Toy is so dead. He is actually just... He's helpless.
This Loyi has been enabling Liquid so much. It's not just the diversions, it's just straight up the damage from Sanji that RQ is not ready for. They're at least able to secure the buff here. Not stolen by Liquid, but Kartizi isn't even in the area. Look at how much damage he does to Dyron.
This AOG past the tier 1. Dyron is dead despite having the Vengeance. JP will be sacrificed. Great RWM. They're gonna catch Sanford in the crossfire, but Sanford has the sprint. He gets out. Kartizi just casually walks out of the RWM. So 1-for-1 trade, but still Liquid They have a 7k goal advantage.
This is a completely different team from game number 1. I did mention, right? Pick a composition, play gameplay that feels more Liquid. And if you ask me, this is feeling a little bit more classic Liquid in general. Like the aggression around the map, the coordination, the movements, the ganking, the insta kills. Feels very classic. And it's good to see it. RRQ, will they be able to adapt to this? Because Team Liquid has definitely surprised them here. They went into this draft with a certain degree of confidence. They were willing to let the Suyo through because they figured they could control it the same way they did Joy in game 1. And Carl TZ has shown them that that was a mistake.
Big mistake. But it's BOD, that's the snore of the game. Looking to further accelerate the gold lead. E-Dog, unlike game number 1, wasn't able to do too much. Oh, they're looking for Susujin.
Oh, they're looking for Susujin.
He has no idea. Spell of Alpha to disengage, but we'll have to give away the purple buff.
Sanji is so on top of things whenever he's playing low E. One of the first players to really show how aggressively diversion could be used on the Land of Dawn. And RRQ now on the receiving end of this. If we do end up going to a game number 3, I feel like this is a hero they have to respect somewhat alongside the Suyo, because Kartizi does seem a bit more comfortable this time. First Lord of the game pushing up bottom lane, shouldn't apply too much damage, but RRQ are really far behind in itemization.
Feels like this game, if Liquid wins the next fight, this game probably just ends right then and there. RRQ Hoshi needs so much more time, for Rins and Toys, especially Rins, to even come close to a stage where he can start being a big threat.
Yeah, this has been a very unexpected result. I actually was a fan of the draft here. Oh, Susujin trying to engage.
Gets pinned to the wall, clears out the Lord in the process. I mean, all this considered pretty good defense, right? Basically resetting every single wave, so RRQ Hoshi still keeps all inhibs alive, but they are facing down a close to 10k goal advantage for Team Liquid Philippines. It's going to take a bit of a pause as we try to figure out what the issue was. But I mean, at this point, Liquid, they are just miles ahead of everyone else. Even the passive pierce damage from Yuktizi is straight out shredding the health bars of RRQ Hoshi.
Yeah, this is a completely different performance here, and we did talk about how we wanted to see what Yuktizi was capable of. Well, looks like he has responded to our prayers. There is a nearly 10,000 gold difference between Team Liquid and RRQ Hoshi right now. And that is usually the point where it becomes impossible to make that comeback unless your opponent just makes a massive mistake, because unfortunately RRQ's lineup doesn't actually scale as well into the late game comparatively to Liquid.
I mean, on that note, what can RRQ do? Like, is this game just set in stone, done and dusted, just just on top of the point where they don't scale as well into the late game, or is there still kind of a turning point that they could kind of get this game back on track?
It's still definitely possible for them to get this game on track. Like, their team fight is good. Their base defense is going to be solid as well, since they do have the real world manipulation to slow down a push. But I think E-Dog is going to need to pull out some of that MVP from last game again. In fact, I think he needs to not grab most of the enemy team. If possible, implosion 1 or 2 members, if you can, Yuktizi being one of them, and then slowly take apart Team Liquid one by one. Because if you try to implosion all 5 of them together, I don't actually think there's enough DPS to take them out.
I guess it comes down to the Harif once more. It's like how we've seen in a few of our previous games. Really, the Harif shouldering a lot of that late game damage capabilities. Unless, again, like you say, if E-Dog finds the set of his life. In this case, it's definitely slightly harder, as we are going to take a bit of time to talk more about the game, as the players kind of resolve whatever ongoing issues they are. Hope to kind of give everyone the most optimized viewing experience.
I think it's clear though from what we've seen that RQ underestimated Team Liquid going into Game 2. Their plans for handling them in Game 1 went incredibly smoothly, like super well. So I think they went into Game 2 without really thinking that like Team Liquid would be able to fight back somehow. They gave them the Suyo over, expecting that, hey, we can manage it the same way we managed Joy and Carl TZ previously. We have like Tigreal and Eve. Our team fight should be very, very good. Then Lo Yi kind of slips the mind a little bit. And then it just falls apart a little bit.
Especially when they didn't expect that early game to not go according to plan, right? Like, the plan to control the side lanes and especially that river area where Liquid Philippines just completely stopped them in their tracks. In the blink of an eye, they realized our strong side lanes are not strong, at least not in this context.
The side lanes were actually doing well in the beginning, but when they lost the mid lane prio off of Sanji's ridiculous yin-yang reaction damage, then that advantage started bleeding over to Team Liquid's side lanes, right? They were suddenly able to push more aggressively. RQ is not able to like force things as much or poke because they don't really have vision over where the rest of Team Liquid is going to be. And all of that slowly adds up over time to a point where,
Okay, E-Dog, that's Implosion. It's all about looking for Stanford. Ace sprinting away out of this one. That's the pickoff that we need to see. And RQ Hoshi, again, they buy some time for themselves. Without Stanford for another half a minute, Liquid Philippines, they're going to be down one member. But of course, RQ Hoshi had to expend 3 ultimates and a flicker for that play.
At the very least, it brought Toy up to his holy crystal timing. You're not going to get scouted.
He's just getting blown up. Like this Tigreal does not feel like a tank at all.
You gotta respect a fed Suyo. The amount of damage that this hero does when he has any sort of lead is a little bit ridiculous. So I like that RQ tried to push out when they were able to take out Sanford, but yeah, maybe a little bit more surgical with the way they were opening the map. So instead, Carl TZ gets the Lord once again. RQ can be forced into yet another defensive position.
It felt a bit sloppy that E-Dog was so far ahead, but no one else was actively checking the map, right? Like, you would expect Rince to help out a little bit, but he wasn't in position to do so. Of course, RQ Hoshi gonna be ready to give up at least an inhibitor. In this case, it would be the bottom one, as that's where the Lord will spawn.
Yeah, the best case scenario for RQ is that they only lose that one singular inhibitor, but the waves are being pushed up quite heavily by Team Liquid. Surprisingly not that well synced, so there may be a way for RQ to keep their other 2 towers alive if all goes according to plan. But Lord is coming in now. Let's see how much damage Liquid can do.
That's the first inhibitor down. That one is expected. But yeah, I mean, the staggered wave actually keeping RQ Hoshi's other inhibitors alive. Toy almost a one-shotted, has to immediately go home. And with the fact that most of RQ Hoshi's heroes wants to be up close and personal, it's not that hard to get into wildly stacks. And be careful though, E-Dog, another flicker into RWM Implosion. That's the combo that RQ Hoshi needed. They only find JP, and that's just immortality. All that effort to find 0 kills and losing 2 of your own. That has to hurt.
That was like such a good engagement, but a 10k net worth difference is nothing to scoff at. If it was any closer, it would have been a huge catch. But here comes the diversion right into the base.
Right, the side, they want them an inhibitor and they will get it. It's all about zoning out RQ Hoshi. Curtain call ties out UTZ and Stanford, but no follow-up from RQ Hoshi. The Dire even forced to use his vengeance. So Liquid Philippines walks away with a couple of kills and 2 inhibitors.
All things considered, I think RQ did the best they could in terms of that base defense, considering the deficit that they are playing at. Looking at the items, Carl TZ is already maxed out, just got that Sea Halberd to finish things off. GFTZ also full on items, immortality completed on JP, that's what kept him alive previously, even a Winter Crown on Sanford because he knows he's going to be the most vulnerable. Only Toy can really match up in terms of gold right now, and he does have Holy Crystal and Divine Glaive, so his damage is respectable. but by himself is not enough to threaten Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, for Yuktiti, he's already maxed out. Toys has one more slot for his items.
Happy birthday, MLBB!
It's gonna be a bit of a headache. The third Lord is spawning. This could be the end game for Liquid Philippines if RRQ Hoshi can't find a way to remedy this. But it seems like they're not gonna even contest this. This is gonna give it away. It's all about the base defense.
Yeah, honestly, I think playing for the base defense is a much smarter idea coming in from RRQ here. Diversion not gonna be taken. Rims did actually just complete his Wishing Lantern, so that's also a very important item power spike for the Eve. So RQ's base defense should actually be pretty respectable here, but still, 13,000 gold difference. That is rough.
You know that you are just unfairly ahead when the dream combo doesn't result in any loss of life. This loss should be easily taken care of by the damage that RRQ Hoshi has. Sanford is doing so much damage to the current call.
Oh,
Yuktisi caught out, able to zone himself away. The Lord needs to be taken care of. The dualities here, they're gonna look for the Crystal. Yuktisi straight for the end game. And RRQ Hoshi will not close out the series the way they wanted to. Team Liquid Philippines ties it up.
Gotta give props to Yuktisi.